Hi Jazz04, this is Jackie. I wanted to get in on this week's contest that you're having of what was one of my most prized possessions. And this is what it is. Okay, I think you can see it there. It's Eshemir's Bible storybook. And there's a little story that goes along with it. I was born here on the East Coast, and I live with my mother and my two sisters. And my grandmother lived in San Francisco, and my mother wanted to move there. And so we had to live with her for a while until my mother got established. Thanksgiving was always a big deal at our house. My grandmother made a big dinner, everything from soup to nuts, where you spent a lot of time eating until you could hardly see, and then you kind of vegged. This book, she let me read on Thanksgiving Day just once a year. And I got to sit in the living room where only the guests were allowed. And I could sit there after dinner and read this book. I think I was a religious person even back as a child. I don't know why. Religion is always something that interests me. And she would let me read it for an hour or so, and then she would put it back on the bookshelf. But it was one of my memories that I had as a child. And she signed it. It was to her. This was a gift from her to her husband back in 1957. When I eventually came back here on the East Coast, even though I saw her from time to time, I went back. I believe it was in 1994. My grandmother was already very old, probably in her 90s, and I went to see her, and I asked her if she still had that book because out of everything that she had, this is the only thing that I really wanted that belonged to her. And she said, well, go look on that bookshelf. And I went and it was still there. It was such a feeling of deja vu, I can't even explain it. You know, tears came to my eyes because it was like I remember these stories. I'm getting all teary just thinking about it. But she said, why is this so special? And I said, well, it just reminds me of you and when I lived here. And she says, well, if you want it, you can have it. And it was one of the highlights of my trip there because I knew that was going to be the last time I was going to see her. And so I'm very proud to have this book. If my house was on fire, before I would try to save anything else, it would probably be this book because it's something I would like to hand down to my daughter and my grandchildren of something that belonged to my past and my grandmother's. Okay, so this is my most prized possession. Excuse my attire. I'm on the way to the gym. But hey, thanks for having this one. This one's a really good one. I don't enter all the contests, but this one was special to me. Okay, so bye.